One of the easiest ways that you can make more money with Kajabi is by offering upsells or order bumps on your existing offers. And I'm often really surprised as a Kajabi strategist who's looked at thousands of Kajabi accounts, including those of $1 million plus customers, how little these upsells and order bumps are being implemented. And it's such a fantastic way to make extra money. Often it can feel like you have to create a whole nother course or an entirely separate offer to be able to offer an order bump or an upsell. But a really simple and underutilized way of making more money through upsells is by offering some kind of coaching call, implementation call, hour of power, or personal lesson. Because there are people in your audience who, even if they've just paid for a course to learn how to do it on their own, may want some extra hand holding or personal support. And when you offer that as a really compelling offer as an upsell, then you will get people who do purchase that. So today in this tutorial, I'm going to show you exactly how to set all of that up within Kajabi. Let's go. So the first thing that we want to do is to create a new coaching call that we can then use in that upsell and or order bump. So we're going to come to products and all products and then click onto new product. We are going to choose coaching as the option. So we shall get started and come in here and add a title. Now, ideally, you would add something that isn't the very specific thing that you want to offer for that upsell. Ideally, the name of your product itself, the actual coaching product, can be something that's a little bit more generic. So then you can make the really specific terminology inside the offer. That way, you don't need to set up a separate coaching product for every single time you create an upsell. You can have a more generic, like our consulting call or our kind of personal lesson, ask me anything type call. And then that way you can use that same coaching product for each of the different situations. So I'm going to call this one Hour of Power One-to-One Consultation. And then that way I can be a little bit, vague with how I word it in the offer to make sure that I can use this same coaching product in different situations. I'm going to add my name in here, but all of this you can add later, and I'll show you where you can do that. You can add a description here if you want to, and a thumbnail image. I've already got one handy, so I'm going to add that one in, but you can always add that later. This is the image that someone will see when they go to their library in order to schedule their call. So I do recommend at some point adding something, even if it is a generic stock image or an image of yourself, or just something simple that you can create in Canva. It's the same standard Kajabi image size of 1280 by 720. So we're going to continue and we're going to make this a one-on-one coaching and just have one session. You can have additional offers that have multiple sessions, or if you just use this one-on-one coaching offer with one session, you can easily upsell and give people the opportunity to purchase additional sessions later. The easiest way to use Kajabi's coaching is to use Kajabi's scheduler. You connect up your calendar, and once you have done that, it will read your calendar. You can set your availability rather than having to use a separate calendaring app. If you do use Kajabi's scheduler, all of the reminders about the calls will be sent automatically from Kajabi as well. And I'll show you once I've set this up where you can adjust those email reminders. If you want something to be sent out at very specific times, or you want specific messages to be put into those email reminders and you're not happy with what you can do in Kajabi, that's where you could potentially use a different calendaring tool. Calendly is the only one that integrates directly with Kajabi, so people can actually change their appointments from within Kajabi, but you can also send a custom link which will go to any calendar app or a web page where you have your calendar embedded. And you can also do a manual booking, which just means you will work that time out with the customer on your own, and then you'll add that time into their Kajabi scheduled session. So we're going to do Kajabi's scheduler. You can also use Kajabi live video, which is a really nice experience. It saves you from having to use Zoom, and it will automatically upload the recording of the call straight into the client's portal after the call. It will be there almost immediately. You can download the call and do other things with it as well. The only downside of using Kajabi's live video is currently, as of this recording, there is no transcript or AI note summary type feature. And as someone who has done hundreds of consulting and strategy calls with clients, that is something that is absolutely essential to my process. Having AI notes is a huge time saver, and it means that you can give your clients a summary pretty much as soon as the call finishes. I use Fathom with Zoom, so often I will just actually put a custom link in here and use Zoom. But if I do use the Kajabi live video, then I would use a different note taker. I just discovered a couple of days ago a note taker called granola.ai. I'm currently testing it out, and so far it is looking like it will be able to give notes and possibly transcriptions on Kajabi live community videos, live coaching calls, group coaching, and in courses as well. So that is looking very exciting. Even better would be if Kajabi incorporate that into Kajabi. One other thing as well, if you do use the Kajabi scheduler, it will also enable you to add this call anywhere on your website using a coaching scheduling widget, which will mean someone can see your calendar and then book a call and pay for it all in one simple process. So that's something to bear in mind. That only works if you use the Kajabi scheduler. It doesn't work if you use a manual link or if you connect your Calendly. We can then select a duration. This is an hour of power, so I'm going to make that 60 minutes, but you can make that whatever is your preference for doing ask me anything, pick my brain, consult, private calls. If you normally do 45 minutes, you can make it 45 minutes. It's totally up to you. This will then apply some colors to our coaching template. You can add them in if you've got your colors already set, or I will show you where you can add them in afterwards. So I'm just going to add this here for the accent color for the buttons, and I will continue. If you've already got an offer created for this, if you've done the offer first and then you're doing the product afterwards, you can skip this process. But if you are starting at the point of making a call and then you want to make this the offer to connect the call and take the payment, then use this. So offers are separate to products. You can have as many offers as you like for one product. So you can do this here and it'll create a simple version of your offer, or we can skip for now and you can make the offer afterwards. Totally up to you. And we now have our hour of power one-on-one consultation call ready. So a couple of things with using Kajabi's coaching. This package outline is basically the template for all of the calls that you'll make going forward. You can just leave it blank, but it might be nice to go through and customize this a little bit and not just have it say session 1 with no other information. So you might want to, so I might do power one-on-one consulting or call, or whatever that is. You can add a description, again, whatever you like here. If you have an agenda where you typically cover the similar things on the calls for everyone, you can add that agenda in. And if there are any resources that you want people to be able to access before they meet or just to have on hand, you can add resources in here. Now, when you make changes here, this is, like I said, basically making a template. Once someone has booked, you can then go to their individual client sessions and update all of this for that specific client, or just leave it as the more generic version. So just know that this is something that you're creating kind of as the basis that your client will get straight away, and then you can go and add other resources. So there may be some clients where you want to send them resources. You can add it in here, and if you do add a resource, it'll let them know and send an email saying, hey, your resources has been added. But for a lot of clients that I work with, they may have an agreement or something they want people to see or sign. They want every client to see that at the beginning of the session, so they'll add that into the resources so they don't need to remember to go and add it later. So that is in that session. This additional session will only apply if someone does purchase an additional session. So you may want to go and, again, update that so it doesn't just have a name of additional session. You might want that to say something a little bit different. Again, description, agenda, resources. If you want to have those in here, you can. Otherwise, you can change it individually per customer as they do book their calls in. The next thing we're going to do is go and change what this looks like. So Kajabi very recently upgraded their entire coaching area. Before, we were very limited with how we could display these coaching calls and what our clients saw. They just had a very plain background and very, very simplified, and it was using all of the website settings with no customization. Now we have a lot of customization. You can come in here into this sort of overall settings area to change, like I said, the description of your program. You can add a coach email there if you want to, change your thumbnail. This is where you can change your scheduling preferences if you don't want it to be that long, or if you want to change it so it's not using Kajabi scheduler and the live video. And you can also enable reminders here, which is really, really helpful. And you can choose now, which I love, to send a reminder a certain amount of time before the session starts, and you can actually add a second reminder. So you might want to have that reminder go out like 2 hours before, and then 10 minutes before. Do bear in mind it's going to be the same reminder, but just sometimes it's nice to sort of have that go out, and then, I mean, even 5 or 10 minutes before, it just puts the link in a very easy place for people to find it. I really do love that Kajabi have built that in. You can use change your availability here if you haven't already set it, or you can manage your default availability. I like to, if I'm using Kajabi live recordings, make sure that they are being uploaded automatically. It is such a streamlined and simple process. And then if you want to turn this on now, you can have this offer additional one-on-one coaching sessions to show up on the page automatically. So if you have that here, then you can have this additional session product. I'm not going to go through this at this point because I'll do it in a separate video where I really deep dive into coaching. Just want to let you know that it is available. I would also recommend going and ticking these on. You probably don't need to know when the recording is uploaded to a session, but if you do want to know, so you could then go and add some extra notes or something, then that is helpful because you'll know your client is also getting notified. I definitely think it is helpful to notify your client when shared notes or resources or anything like that are added, and the notification will go to you if your client adds anything to the notes or resources or uploads anything. You can add additional automations here as well, but again, I'll cover that in a future session where I deep dive into the actual coaching product. I'm just helping you get something set up super simple for now. So this is the last step. We have a template that we can use. This is all of the customization. It will set you up with a very basic coaching template. There is one other template that you can use. We're going to use this one just so you can see what it looks like. You can then customize that further, change your colors, your fonts, etc. That basic one that it starts with is going to pull the settings from your website settings. So if you're lucky, it'll pull the colors and fonts and things that you're already using. And if you're not using your website and you just have a random template there, then you might need to change a few things. So when you do add a new template, you can customize it. Then once you've got it to how you want, then you can activate it. You can also export it and upload it to other coaching products in future. So you only have to do this once, which might be nice. But we're going to go and customize this. I'm going to show you, I'm going to do a speed run through customization because there is a heap that you can do. But just to give you some basics and to help you know where to look in order to customize what your customers are going to see. So the first area that we are going to go in is the coaching program. And that basically means like the coaching home area. So when someone goes and purchases and they can see their library page, they will see this thumbnail and they can then click on it. This is where they're going to land. So you can customize all of this now, the same as you would have customized a landing page. You can also come into the settings right at the start for your whole coaching program and change your colors. So I'm just going to change this one, A4D5F, and make that our main color. But again, you can go through and make this your colors. You can change your button styling, which is then going to apply through the rest of it. You can change your font family. We are Poppins and Poppins. So you can change that. You can change your heading colors. Do all of those things. font sizes, all of that is changed just like you would do with a landing page. But when you do make the changes in here, like your page background, etc., it is going to apply across all three of these. So that's why I would suggest to go into there first, because then at least you've got your fonts and your colors and things just how you want them. But when we have got these areas, so like I said, coaching program in this drop down here is like the coaching home area. So if someone has got multiple sessions, it's going to show up here. If you have got that optional additional sessions, that's going to show up here. And it's kind of like a home record of all of their sessions. If you're not using invoicing for your coaching, you may want to take that off. I'm someone who's pretty unlikely to ever use that invoicing. So two ways to get to it. You can either sort of come into here and click through, or the easiest way that I find is to hover around and click onto the page, and it will open up on the side here this particular section. So we can see here there's nowhere we can either remove the block because we don't want invoices, or if you're going, oh, I'm not sure, I don't know if I want to remove it, you can come into here for now and hide it. So it'll still be there, but it's just not going to be seen. So you can do that with any of these things. You can also add additional blocks if you want to. All of the normal landing page blocks can be added either into this sidebar area, or you can add entire sections at the bottom. Obviously, you're going to want to change your footer and your header, probably get rid of the Kajabi logo and add your own logo, and also make sure that you pay attention to these social media icons, either take them off or customize them to be your own so that your customers don't get confused if there are things like that that are automatically added to the page. You can change your background color, all of that kind of stuff. So that is kind of the home area. And then within that, there is a heap of settings. I'm going to do, like I said, an entire session on going through all of these different settings that we have available in here. You can change anywhere where you can click, you can change wording, which is really nice. Then once we have got this coaching program here, we will also come into our coaching session. So the coaching session is like the coaching call. So someone will click onto, it's saying completed because it's like dummy content, but when it's not yet scheduled, it'll say not yet scheduled. Someone can click on it and then they'll come into here to this page, to this coaching session page. And again, there's probably things on here that you may want to change. This is where the resources will show up if you have that. If you want the session details showing up, and if there's different things that you want or don't want on here, you can change all of this wording. So you can click onto different parts here and change it. Again, if you're using that template, you'll probably want to get rid of the Kajabi logo and either add your own logo or change that to text. So if you put text, you can see, you can change there. You may want to change this hang tight for your coach to join, or, button colors, backgrounds, all of those kinds of things. So the good thing is that you can change a heap. Bad thing is it might just take you a little bit of time. So I'd suggest just to sort of do it as quickly as possible, just to do the bare minimum where you're like, nope, I'm pretty happy with that. And then come back and maybe play around with it later. And watch my very detailed video where I go into all of the different settings, because there are a lot of different settings here. We've got these different scheduled statuses, whether, different things are going to show up, whether the call is scheduled, unscheduled, completed, etc. So you can go through and drop down into all of those situations and see these this page state here for scheduled, unscheduled, completed, and the recording has been uploaded. So you get an idea of what that's going to look like in those different states on that page, because the page is going to look different depending on the status of that call. So just have a really quick look through here. One of the things that I always recommend with coaching offers is to grant the offer to yourself. So once we go and set up the checkout, grant it to yourself, then log in as a client and actually go through and look at what this looks like in an incognito window, because sometimes it can be a little bit tricky. You can certainly use previews and things, but just to make sure that you go, oh, that's what happens when I schedule it. Oh, that's the email that I get when I schedule it. Oh, that's the reminder, just so that you get a sense of exactly what it is going to be like what that customer experience is like. We also have an option. It's probably something you need to worry about less, especially for a single call where there is a coaching search. Coaching search is more helpful and relevant when you have multiple calls. Your client can basically come in here and do a search term. There is a search bar here, and this is what the search result page will look like. So do bear in mind things like the header and the footer, that is going to stay the same. You don't change the header and the footer, like the menus and things like that. Doesn't matter which page. It's all the stuff in the middle, like all of these blocks here that come up in the middle that you can change. So yeah, my advice, change your fonts, change your colors, do some basics. So you're like, yep, that's good enough. And then if you find that you're using this a lot, maybe come back and do some additional customization. It is nice though, because previously we had a choice of one background color or no background color, and none of this customization was available. So we got options now, which is good. Do make sure that once you have customized it and you've got it to be how you want, that you make that template the active template. So this was the default one. You can certainly just go and customize the default one if you want. You just may find that changing to a different template maybe just changes the images slightly. At some point in time, template service providers will probably have coaching templates available that you can then come into here and upload. So that may be an option as well. But do just bear in mind, if you've made the changes, just activate it. You can certainly as well change the name and say, use this template or something like that, or change the name of it here. So you can click on the three dots and rename it so that it's something and you remember what it is. So that's coaching. That is set up, that is now ready for clients. And like I said, the great thing about that is you can do it really quickly. Like that entire thing could be set up in maybe an hour and you'll be good to go. Before we leave coaching, I do just want to show you where you can find some of those reminder email templates, because there are a few of them and you may want to customize them and they're a little bit hidden. So come into settings. And we want to come into settings and click onto email templates. And in email templates, go down here. There is a heap of different email templates in here, and you want to go down to where we see all these coaching sessions. So coaching session added, where there's multiple sessions added, coaching session scheduled, corrected, rescheduled, cancelled, reminders, content changed, recording uploaded, live videos starting now. That's courses. So there's a few different ones, and they are using the kind of ugly Kajabi default. So when you come in here, you might find it a little bit like weird / ugly in order to see what that's going to look like. Do just remember to send yourself a test email and or preview it in the browser so that you can see what those customizations are going to look like. I try not to remove things that are in brackets and just add content around that. You can't add graphics or bold or anything else like that. There's only very, very simple text that can go in here. But yeah, definitely to see what those emails are going to look like. That's why I love to add myself as a coaching client and go and schedule a call so that I get a sense of what my clients are actually going to see on their end. Okay, coaching product set up. Let's go and start adding this as an upsell to our existing offers so we can make more money with Kajabi. Firstly, we're going to create the actual offer itself. So in this situation, I have called this a funnel audit and strategy session. So I've already created this offer, but you can go and create an offer afterwards, or you may find out when we actually went through before, this has created an offer for us. So it's created this one-on-one consulting call offer here. So we'll use this one. But one thing that I would always remind you to do is we're going to add this here, and we're going to add the word upsell in capitals or order bump to make it really easy to find when we want to put it onto different offers. So this one's going to be an upsell. So we're going to add that here. I'm just going to change this actually because it's added the wrong product, but this is how you would add a product if you're doing it from scratch. So hour of power, consultation. So this is the product here. Don't worry about adding a description. At this point, it's not going to show up anywhere. We just want to add this internal title here. One of the really great things about when you make an offer that's just for an upsell or just for an order bump, you do not even need to edit the checkout. So all of that, or most of the information is going to be changed on the actual offer title itself and in the pricing area. So, so when you've got that, you just need to make sure that the product is in here. I do always like to, with post product for this one, have it go to the product library. I don't like to send a default email because Kajabi's default emails are super ugly. So I choose none, and then I send my emails through an automation. So you can either have an email sequence set up, or you can have an automation that is set up like this, where we go, the trigger name is offer, when offer is purchased, and it is this upsell, and then we'll save that trigger. Then send an email. So we go then send an email or subscribe to an email sequence if you've got it set up here. So then this send, so it's like your funnel audit and strategy call has been booked. And so then this is where you can actually go through and, you know, send them a message about the call saying, I'm so glad you've, so this is where we're going to tie it back to that generic name. Decided to book this hour of power funnel audit. You'll be able to schedule this call in your, I just put Unicorn Library because that's my business, or click here, or you can add a button, library, or click here, click below. And then we will add a button in here, and the button is going to be /library. You can add your URL, but if you just put /library, that will still work. Choose your time, and we will make this our color, but you don't have to. And so that's how you can add a button into this email here. You can put any other information that you want in about that. And do just remember to send a test email to yourself. You can also, if we are with this coaching call, so you can come to the products as well. And we can come into all products, or come into coaching actually. We'll go and find this to get the link to it if you want to send a link to it. And we'll come into here. And when we go preview, we will actually be able to send the link here. So when it goes preview, it is going to bring it up. So we can come in here and copy this link here and add that to the button if you prefer. So that automation will then be connected. So they will get an email. It just won't be the ugly Kajabi email. So we've got this upsell here. So I've called this one a funnel audit and strategy session, but it's still going to be linked. So this is where I made the offer first, and then we will add the product to it, which will be choose the product. So we're going to add this hour of power. We don't want to give this to existing members. We actually don't have any existing members yet. So that will then be here. So even though the product is called Hour of Power one-on-one consultation, we're going to call it a funnel audit and strategy session for the purposes of what we are doing here. And then, like I said, you can just put something into the email to make it make sense. Now, you don't need to edit the checkout, but what I would suggest that you do is come into your pricing and make this a very important change, because when you have the actual upsell that we are going to add to your other offer for your course, for your membership, for your workshop, for whatever it is that you're doing, this wording here has to be changed on the actual upsell offer. So we're going to come back to our upsell here, and we want to make sure we use this price text override. If you don't, it's just going to have just $149 or whatever the price is. It's not going to say anything, which is less compelling, and you don't have a lot of space, and there isn't a lot you can do with this upsell page. So that is one of the things that I would highly recommend on upsells, to make the most of it. I am hoping it is very high on a lot of Kajabi users' wish lists that will get a landing page style upsell, where we can do a lot more with the upsell since we've now got it on the checkout. In the meantime, though, this is what we got. It's very basic, but this bit here does need to be changed on this original upsell offer. So here, so we've got this text here. Feel free to, be inspired by that. If you don't use this price text override, like I said, it's just going to say the price, which will be, $149 or whatever it is that you have got the price set. But the good thing, no editing checkouts. No need to worry about any of that. You just need to make sure that the details are set up, that you've got your product in here. If it is something that they only get access to for a short time, you can set that here. Like I said, the post-purchase email is none. And then when the offer is purchased, then you are sending them that confirmation email. Okay. So the other thing as well in the settings, if you do want to get notified if someone does purchase the upsell, then again, you can go into your settings. I always do this on every offer, but I just thought I'd just mention it, where you can notify when a purchase has been made. So just turn that on and you can send that through to yourself. If you do have affiliate commissions, you can turn that on as well. Okay, so now the main offer. So I'm going to come back. This is our annual membership early bird. So I've just put this with Upsell, so I remember. So this is the stock standard checkout or offer that I'm already using. So we've gone all the way. We've had to do all that stuff first to get back to the original start point, which was an offer that isn't offering any kind of upsell or order bump. And on this, I've showed you two different ways that you would be able to include this. Now, normally, if it was an order bump, I would choose an offer. So I make an offer specific to be an order bump or specific to be an upsell. If I already sell this hour of power or consulting call or coaching call just on my website somewhere else, then I just duplicate the offer and make a separate version for the upsell so the pricing can be different, because you don't have to do that, but often on the upsell or the order bump, you're doing a whole like, hey, if you buy these two things, you'll save a little bit of money. So that can be something that you can try. Now, you can use an order bump at the checkout. So if we want to see what that order bump looks like, click onto edit checkout or preview or anything like that, and then you will see the order bump displayed on here. Now, this is the older style of Kajabi checkout, but it's the same thing. You will see this on the checkout, so it's being presented at the same time as the main offer. So an order bump is something that you buy in conjunction with, so it will total these two prices together. If someone clicks on yes, please, I want that as well. Now, if you don't want to have that, if you want it to be presented to them after, so if they've purchased the membership and you're like amazing, and then you want to give them the offer, so you don't give them sticker shock or anything like that. Often I find that order bumps work really well for a lower priced product rather than a consulting type call. That's when it's the after purchase flow. So this is when you have gone and added all of the content. This is what it's going to look like. This is the most important thing that you can do if you are going to add an upsell. Please promise me that you will preview it to see what it looks like, because you might be really surprised because none of the fields are in the right order and you might be going, why is that there? If you don't use a video, it's just going to have a static image, and then this is it. The description is all the way at the bottom. So this is where you really want to make sure that your headline and your sub-headline is super, super compelling. So when we click in here to see how that is set up and we go to edit it, you choose your offer here. So we've got the hour of power. Actually, I don't even think I changed that. I'm going to put it in here, so it's going to probably be a little bit incorrect because I don't think I made those changes back on that original offer. So you'll see what I mean. Then we've got this title here, which is going to show up at the top in big letters. You can't change the font, you can't change the colors, you can't change anything, unfortunately. But you can change, what that title is. Then you have a subtitle, which appears just below it. Then this description, like I said, is right at the bottom. So even though it's showing next, it's actually underneath the rest of it. So the description is probably less important, and there's not a whole lot of customization that you can do as well in there. Then there will be an option to add a thumbnail image or a video. And I would highly recommend a video. And ideally, you can either autoplay the video or have a video where at the beginning of it, it is kind of frozen. Like I've just added a any video here just to show you what it looks like, but I would suggest that you add something that it's like, important, please watch this, or something that's like in the first 5 seconds of the video. So that is going to show up in that preview, and that is what people will see on this page. Or you can have it so it auto plays. What I would suggest, if you're going to have it to autoplay, people might take a minute to actually turn the sound on. So please put subtitles on if you are going to autoplay a video. You can add captions in here, but I would make sure the subtitles are burned into the video, and you could remove it. Now, we've got these other 2 fields that we can add. This is it. This is all we can add. We've got purchase button text and cancel button text. This is the purchase button. So again, use compelling. If you don't have copy, it'll just say, yes, I want this, or whatever it defaults to, or no. So you can go and then change that so it's not the default. Just click on that to make it go away, and actually, go and customize. But that's all that we've got to be able to customize on here. So go and tweak and change. Feel free to use my example as inspiration, and ideally put a video on, because I just think a video is really going to help sell this. You can try doing it with just an image, but I feel like a video where you're like, oh, thank you so much. I'm so glad you've decided to join the membership. That's it's a fantastic way to help you, get your funnel set up and start creating in Kajabi. But if you want some extra one-on-one help, I've got a special offer for you today. The only place that you're able to get that is right here on this page. So watch this video. I'll tell you all about it. And if you do want to book that, you'll be able to book the button below and get this half price offer. Whatever it is, you can do a little video, explain it, tell people the benefit to them. And then, like using something that is compelling, that is either limited time, limited number of spots. Normally it's this much, now it's that much. That is a way that you can encourage people to do that upgrade and to get that one-on-one call. So once you've done that, it will then, as someone goes through, when they go to purchase, so when they come to your checkout, and bear in mind, this is my test account, so this isn't a properly done offer. Let's pretend it wasn't on here. Actually, we'll go and take it off here so that you don't see that. So we'll turn this order bump off. We'll just turn that off for now, so you can see what it looks like. We'll go and preview this. So you won't see the upsell at this time. So, you've got your details in here, obviously designed and actual content in here. Once someone clicks pay now, or pay, whatever you've got set up on your button, after that is when they'll be presented with the upsell. And what they'll be presented with is what you see here, exactly what you see here. So when you do the preview, this is what someone is going to see. If they click on no thanks, it's then going to just take them through to the library for the original product that they purchased. If you want to, I'm not a big fan of this, but some people like doing it. You can either add an upsell or you can add a downsell in here. So there are options of where you can add additional upsells and downsells. So it doesn't have to just be one thing. So you could add this one, and if they say no thanks, then you could present them with a second offer if you choose to. Again, some people love doing that. Some people will set up 3, 4 things on here. I just like doing one, and I feel like some kind of one-on-one offer where you can help support people. It will help you see the value when someone is like, yes, please, I want that personal support, because whilst we're in a world of instant access and people are buying self-study courses, a lot of the time people are very happy to pay for extra support. Or they might have that and think, oh, this looks really good, but wouldn't it be so nice if I had someone where I can just ask them all my questions, or if I could get some extra help from that expert? And if you then present that to them, so they're getting the combination of your course or program and a one-on-one call, and especially if it's something where you say, hey, if you want a personal lesson, or for me to review your work, or a strategy session so I can help you work out the best way to implement that, whatever it is for your business, when you can offer that at the time when someone has just purchased, It lets them know that that is something that you offer. It gives you a way to generate some extra income, and it gives you a way to really support your customers and help them make the most of their program and give them the option to get a bit more you if that is something that is going to help them. Just going to do a really quick recap because I have covered a lot in this tutorial / workshop. It's ended up being pretty long, so I'm going to go back to the beginning and do a very quick recap of what we have done. So we have set up a coaching. So we've gone to our products. We've created a new coaching product. An alternative to that is that you can already have a calendaring software, or you do it manually and you just send someone an email, say, hey, thanks for booking the call. Let me know your times, or I do the calls on Tuesday between these hours. You can do that process manually, or you can set up this automated coaching product. Once you have got that coaching product set up, if you want to offer that, that is when you will then come in and create an offer. So you need an offer for that coaching product to then add that upsell offer to your original offer. And like I said, if you're going to go to the trouble of setting up a coaching offer and sell it as an upsell, I'd probably set up a second offer just to sell it at normal full price and make that available on your website, especially if you are getting started. Coaching and consultation calls are such a fantastic way to generate revenue and really get in touch with your customers, your clients, and understand where they're at and the troubles that they are having. And it has just been a fantastic thing for my business. Even though I'm 6 years in, I still do coaching consulting calls. I love it. There's even other ways if you don't like getting on Zoom, Voxer, other things. I'm not going to go into that. This is already too long, but just know that there are options. So this was supposed to be a summary. So we need a coaching product or externally done by you. That product then needs an offer. And if you label it in the details in your internal as upsell, that then makes it easy for you to find it on your original offer. So this is your original thing, the thing you're already selling, your program, your membership, workshop, whatever it is that you're already selling. Come to that and then add it under this cross-selling, either as an order bump or in this after purchase flow as an upsell. Just do remember that one of those things that you've got to change, which is this text area here. You do just need to change it on that original upsell option under the pricing area in that price text override. So that's what you need to do. Once you've done that, you will be able to then hopefully generate additional sales as you sell your program. And if you're in a launch, you can certainly limit the number of calls and just take it off or turn it off if you find too many people are buying it. But yeah, I hope you enjoy this way to make more money with Kajabi. I'm Sue from the Unicorn Advisory. See you in the next Kajabi.